Welcome back to WCS America Group G action over here. Group G action over here between, well, we already saw Polt advance earlier today, and now it's time for our final series of the night, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Neeb versus Illusion, two very young and very talented North American players are going to go up against each other in a very important best of three. A lot of money on the line, WCS points on the line, and that free ticket to Cologne, which is very nice for both of them.
Hey, it's a beautiful place to visit, man. Come play some StarCraft, win some money, and see a beautiful city.
Life is good if you're winning in StarCraft, isn't it?
Yes.
I guess that goes for all of us. It's even good for me when I just win ladder points. It's the small things in life that are very satisfying.
Those ladder points are very valuable to me.
Yeah. I just realized as well, I dropped like 70 ranks because I haven't been playing on NA. I'm going to be dropping out of GM soon. It's like, no, I'm going to have to ladder some with latency. As long as I reset the bonus pool, it's all good.
Yeah.
Once you're in, you can drop out as long as you play. Either way, we are ready, and it seems like Neeb and Illusion are ready as well. It's going to be Fnatic versus Root for our final series of the day. And it's going to be fun, man. It's awesome that one of these two very young Terran players, 16 and 17 years, guys. It's crazy to think about. I feel so old when I see those ages. It's like, oh, I'm like 10 years older than these guys. What happened to the days that I was the young player?
If only I could be that good at that age.
Oh, yeah.
So we're starting things off on Yahtzee, and we're already loaded in. So let's do this, guys. WCS America, round of 32, Group G. Final match begins here with our blue Terran player spawning in the northeast position. From Team Root Gaming, it is Illusion.
Illusion, 17 years old, is going to go up against Fnatic's Neeb, representing the Fnatic Academy. But if he keeps playing like this, I think it's just a matter of time before he will be promoted to the main squad. He is our red Terran player in the left bottom side of this map. We know him as Neeb. Neeb.
Neeb. He has played some fantastic games today. He, you come into this group and you look at Neeb and you say, probably the underdog. When you look at Illusion, Minigun, and Polt, and then now we're getting towards the end of the group. I'm feeling like Neeb executed some of the same strategies that Illusion tried to do versus Polt a little bit better than he did. So I almost want to favor Neeb in this match. It's certainly going to be hard to predict. Both players opening up gas first as well. These are two players that are going to be much more aggressive towards each other than someone, say, like Polt.
It couldn't be more even as well. Both of them have lost against Polt. Both of them have won against Minigun. And you know what I remember from Neeb's TVT, because I actually had the pleasure of casting Neeb quite a few times in WCS America 2013. And for some reason, he kept running into Drunken Boy. And, you know, in the middle of 2013, I looked at both of them and I was like, these two guys seem really similar to me. Both of them are very young. They're still quite unknown. It's just a matter of time before we see which player has each other's number. And I think Neeb in total went 6-1 in map score against Drunken Boy in 2013. And anyone who knows Drunken Boy will know that he's a really good Terran player as well. But it just seemed like Neeb was a little better. Back then his TVT looked solid. It has changed a little bit ever since. But he definitely has a good shot at making it. But I think this is a 50-50 match, however they come.
Yeah. Certainly, and it will be interesting to see where they decide to go with these factory techs that both players are opening up with, since oftentimes in TVT you see players that go gas first, neglect to send an SCV scout. So both knowing that each other are doing the same thing might influence whether they open up with something like a fast Raven or try to open up with a Viking and play greedy in some other way as a kind of counterplay to the potential for something like a Cloak Banshee rush, for example.
It's hard to get a factory quicker than this, as both factories went down at the 3-minute mark. That's insane. That is so quick.
Yeah, so very, very fast tech-based build. And I think on this map, it's really good because you have so much space in the main. We kind of talked about this before, but if you can get Hellions inside the main, there's a lot of space to run around. You can see Illusion's actually already placed those supply depots in a very nice position. Could deny either a Reaper or Hellions from running around. And he's going to build his starport right on the tech lab with the second gas. And let's do little jumping jacks that factory.
Jumping jacks are awesome, man. That brings up crazy childhood memories. Do you ever have jumping jacks, like those little fireworks? Like if you throw them on the ground, they like start springing all around. Oh,
I was just thinking the gym class exercise, jumping jacks.
It's like jumping jacks is like one of the most popular fireworks. Like on the 31st of December, all Dutch people always buy fireworks, and then you could buy jumping jacks, and they were really fun if you're young. Actually, I would still love jumping jacks. Who am I kidding? It's not just when you're young. Jumping jacks are fun for the rest of your life. There is someone out there, Nate, I promise you, who has as much fun with jumping jacks as I had when I was a child, and he would be like, yeah, I love jumping jacks.
I'm sure he's watching. It's all good. Both players are going for cloaked Banshee, so this becomes that. It becomes less about the cloaked Banshee and more about defending against the opponent's cloaked Banshee without sacrificing your aggressive potential. Widowmine on the way for Neeb. Widowmine's great because if it hits the Banshee, then your Marines will kill it in like 2 shots. And Illusion also starts a Widowmine. So the real question is which one of these players can multitask better to do damage with the Banshee while defending. And I feel like we've seen some great multitasking actually out of both players.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more so out of Neeb, but this is still going to be like impossible to predict, as you said.
And it's also one of those scenarios which can absolutely snowball. If one player just slightly like misfocuses or pays attention to something else and he flies his Banshee into a Widowmine, his aggression can all be over and he can still have a very hard time on the other side of the map to be effective with his units. So we will see. It couldn't be more of a mirror matchup up to this point. Both players SCV scouted, both players open up with Cloak Banshees, and both players throwing down a command center and the Raven. This is as mirror as it gets.
And the Banshees fly past each other, so if they weren't sure before, they certainly are now. So the Ravens will give detection, which will allow the Widowmine and the Marines to defend more effectively. We have a reactor actually already for Illusion, so he's been cranking up the Marines a little bit more. The reactor's just finished for Neeb and steps back, actually pushes the Banshee away with a scan. Not too bad. What can Neeb do to Illusion? His Marines are poised here. He does have a scan himself and do a little bit less damage, but now the Raven is out.
Still a mirror. Both players getting some damage done on these Banshees, but no workers lost on either side. And both players seem to be stabilizing. Viking on the production tab for Neeb. Seems like Illusion is going to skip the Viking. No, never mind. He fires up his Viking just a little later.
Yeah, Neeb's managed to keep his Banshee alive for a little bit longer, but still just about step in step are both players going into Marine tank, getting some Vikings, and I mean, this is one of those situations where when you go for Marine tank off of this setup, you can try to push, but if both players are doing it, it's not. It's hard to get an advantage against the other player unless you can have your Marines help kill a Viking faster or something like that.
Look how fast both of these guys as well. 240 APM for Neeb, 250 for Illusion. Both of them are just blazing on those keyboards.
They're actually kind of, I think both of them players pretty much known for the speed, at least at this point from what we've seen in these matches. It's not surprising at all how quick they're moving. And I really like that Neeb kept this Banshee alive, though. He brought it back home. It's a total of 6 kills. Illusion's kind of lost that threat. He does actually still have a Banshee over here.
Yeah, no, he still has his Banshee. He just brought it back. He repaired
this game actually is like dead even in every possible way. I keep trying to find something. I'm like, there's got to be somewhere where I can say that it's different, but no.
Well, this one Widowmine from Neeb went on a little adventure. Did snipe one Marine. Of course, one Marine is not really anything that you have to worry about as a Terran player. Neeb did throw down his engineering bay. I do not think that Illusion has his eBay just yet. So there might be a moment of opportunity for this one Cloak Banshee that made his way back home, repaired it. That he's going to be able to be annoying, especially with the Illusion expanding now as well. He's going to transfer a few of these workers. A scan went down by Neeb. He sees these SPVs being transferred as well. And now he's just hoping. He's like, hope I can do something about that. Hope there is no eBay or no missile turret. And this Banshee from Neeb, this should be very nice for him. There are not that many Marines at home. Gets 2 Marine kills immediately. If I was him, I would start shooting at the SCVs. I would ignore the tank for a while.
Yeah, the Viking comes over for Illusion, but he would have to burn another scan. He does have one. Where is it? His army can't really attack either. Neeb's in a perfect position to defend against this. Both players, actually just one more Viking for Neeb makes the difference in defending. And Neeb's still out there in that main base. Where are the Marines? Where's the Viking?
Everything is on the other side of the map. Illusion has to make something happen here because he's taking a lot of economic damage at home. All the turrets going down, PDD's going down. I think Neeb has enough over here to shut this down. And then with that Banshee on the other side of the map, oh, look at those Marines. They're actually pushing out a lot of damage. So Illusion will clean this up, but I don't think it's in... Well, actually, he's not going to clean it up. Right now, Neeb with a nice lead. 11 workers ahead. That one Banshee on the other side of the map did some serious work.
Yeah, finally killed. And that fight was surprisingly close. Those auto turrets did quite a bit of damage for Illusion. He has 1 siege tank. He lost the siege tank that he had in his main base. The Banshee was able to pick that off. So he didn't kill a crazy number of SCVs, but he really hurt his ability to fight. And Neeb decides he's not going to go for a counterattack, brings his SCVs to repair the tank. I love this. He's paying such careful attention to make sure he gets the maximum amount of efficiency out of his units.
Yeah, he's going to repair everything again as well. These tanks being repaired. The Vikings will be repaired as well. If I was Neeb, I'd feel really good. And I think it's just a matter of time before Neeb starts going on a small adventure with his units. Illusion tried to put himself in a good position there. Maybe he tried to even siege up over here. But Neeb was aware of that. He knows what a tricky map Yangtze can be. And with that one Banshee, like the only difference there was up to like the 8-minute mark was that Neeb dropped an eBay and Illusion did not. Neeb dropped that missile turret in his middle line, which he didn't even really need. Illusion tried to cut that corner, and that was an expensive corner to cut because that one Banshee with 11 worker kills, or 8, but in total like 13 kills, so a couple of Marines and even a siege tank, that was definitely worth it.
Yeah, this is interesting. We
Oh,
actually
these Vikings can get picked off as well. Illusion maybe not paying attention. There are 3 Vikings over here for Neeb. One Viking goes down immediately, and the other Viking takes some damage. He's even able to save his own Viking.
And now I'm a little worried actually for Illusion. He's putting out with the starport another Banshee, and he doesn't have air superiority. There are Marines here for Neeb, so this is kind of weird. And he sieged up that position that you were talking about before that Illusion was heading towards. Look at that! It picks off 4 or 5 Marines, and I don't see how this Banshee does too much. There's 3 Vikings with a Raven, and he can put on an auto turret if he needs, or 2 auto turrets, or a point defense drone.
I love how Illusion realized that he was not going to get air superiority back in the near future, so he repositioned his tanks just a tiny bit, but enough to keep it alive, even when he didn't see these tanks move closer to that ramp. There is a Cloak Banshee heading to the other side of the map. Is there a missile turret in this line as well? Yes, there is. Well done by Neeb. Neeb is just covering, covering his ass, and he's protecting himself everywhere, and he's still putting on pressure. He's doing a really
even
good
his
job.
reinforcements. Look at the medevac coming up. He just loaded up his tanks and Marines into a medevac to bring to his army, just because it moves across the map faster. And the Banshee's there, trying to pick off a few units. The Marines stim, and they will be able to catch it just barely.
Oh, this is so good for Neeb. I'm not sure what Illusion can do. What is the best thing he could potentially do right now to get away from this pressure that Neeb is putting him under? This third command center is about to finish up as well for a young Terran from Fnatic, who's up currently like 2670 or 26 supply. He's up 3 workers, and he has a soft contain, or well, it's a reasonable contain even on his opponent.
Yeah, he's finally chewing through that point defense drone energy, though. And Illusion made a big point of forcing out some Vikings. And he might actually be able to take some, well, I was going to say air superiority, but losing that Viking to the Marines might even things up. Yeah, it does have another Viking coming out. It's just difficult the way that Illusion's production is set up at the moment. He has Stim on the way, but he doesn't have anything like Combat Shield. Neeb already has Stim. Neeb's Combat Shield is on the way. And he has not just the siege position, but his production layout is also very nice as well, having the right, like the reactor on his starport. It's just so difficult for Illusion to get out what he needs to stop this.
Neeb is trading a few units here, which is not that bad, because he is up a command center and he's up 30 supply as well. He doesn't have to do this though. He's going to stim in, and he's actually going to be trading very well at first, pick up those 2 tanks immediately. He might lose these tanks over here on the right ground, but not even that. Neeb is going to be able to take game 1 very convincingly as Illusion is forced to tap out. GG is called, and Neeb takes game 1 in just very clean fashion. He did one mistake by Illusion, just like not maybe prioritizing defending himself against that Banshee that was once upon a time on the map and made his way back after it was repaired. I really felt that this Illusion was the game changer.
You know, it was funny how I mentioned I was trying to look for something different that both players did in their builds, and the only thing that they did not basically do the exact same of was that engineering bay and the missile turret, and that made all the difference. Neeb was safe from the counterattack from the Banshee, and Illusion was not. And then, you know, Illusion made that push. He cleaned up a lot of units, but the damage he took back home was just too much. And this is just Neeb doing, you know, he's been executing very well, I think is the best way to put it. He's covering his tracks, and he's keeping his eyes open for all potential aggression that his opponent can bring. And that's really all you need to do in TVT.
That's a much nicer way to say it, covering his tracks. That was the word I was looking for, and then I just decided to go the other route. It still works though.
Okay.
Habitation Station is going to be our second map. Neeb versus Illusion. Neeb just 1 map victory away right now from securing his spot to the round of 16, which means that he's going to play offline. I think for the, maybe at least at the big stage for the first time ever. Can you remember a big offline tournament that Neeb attended?
I don't think, maybe an open bracket like a long time ago, but I don't remember seeing his name in any of them.
Yeah, maybe like a Columbus a long time ago, because he's living on the East Coast, or maybe he went to, you know, Raleigh or Rhode Island, but that's also long ago.
I don't even think he was at like the IEM New York bracket either.
No, I don't remember him seeing in that one. So it's really cool for him. Illusion has a little bit more experience, but of course it would be awesome for Illusion as well to get that journey to Europe. Season 2 and Season 3 will of course still happen in America, but you know, everything has changed a little bit, and this time we will do it all in Cologne. I'm ready. I'm just going to ask the players if they are ready as well. And then we can just fire up this game, which could potentially be our last game of the night. And then it's definitely been a very fun broadcast. I think a lot of good games. And we saw some cool PvTs.
Yeah.
We saw the Widowmine in full strength.
This the whole series, every series I think this of tonight has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
And some really cool games. And Neeb is on the cusp of being the second player to move out to the round of 16. Illusion needs to stop him. Habitation Station, I think, is a good map for those type of siege tank contains because of how much space there is at the bottom of the natural ramp. But well, maybe Illusion will mix things up a little bit. He still has some tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to do the same thing again. Well, the game is live, so we can just go ahead and hop into the game and introduce our players for perhaps the final thing of the night. It's match point for Neeb. But over here on the left-top side of Habitation Station, we have our Blue Terran representing Team Root Gaming. Root has had a lot of success in the last few months, but this could be a dark day if this young man, who we know as Root Illusion, will not make it out today, because that would mean that 2 for 2 Root went out. Or 2 out of 2 Root players went out today.
Yeah, be quite disappointing for Root, but at the cost of the success of a maybe not so known player. Can he make it out? In the top right position, the red Terran player from Fnatic, it is Neeb.
And it's always cool to see young talent making a breakthrough, especially in WCS America. This is one of the reasons why Blizzard implemented some changes to WCS 2013 and 2014 as well. Even in 2013, when it was very tough for North Americans to make a big name for themselves, Neeb, made it into WCS Premier League, was not able to advance to the round of 32, but he was knocking on the door. You could feel it. When you watch these games, you could see that he was a very good player. He made it through Challenger League twice, and that is already impressive on its own. And now we will see if he can go all the way and for the first time in his career make an offline appearance, at least in the WCS round of 16.
Yeah, it would be pretty awesome to see, just up and coming players, and you don't see as many of the up and coming Terran players lately, especially. There's been
it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the players that have popped up in the last season or two WCS, globally, and especially in Europe, some players I recall there's Lilbo, especially some players that maybe not as known able to get attention. I think it's really cool that players like Neeb can come out here and put on great games like this. So for this map, it's gas first again for Neeb, going for the fast factory, still SCV scouting, but Illusion opening up with the Marines a little bit later gas. Maybe we'll see him do that, once again, a little Marine Reaper poke, maybe just a standard 2 Marine reactor play. There's quite a few options available to Illusion, but I feel like being aggressive is just, what both of these players are all about.
Well, maybe that Marine Hellion opening that we saw early today in Habitation Station that Neeb pulled off against Polt, because that was a pretty successful opening for Neeb.
Yeah, that's actually did quite a bit of damage to him, especially considering that I think, Polt also opened up relatively defensively. So it is 2 Marines and a reactor. And this will mean that he'll start his factory around the same time that the reactor finishes. So he'll have some Marines to play around with. But like you said, that Hellion play would actually be pretty strong since he's limited to mostly just a couple of Marines at the start of this game. So I'm wondering just where Neeb wants to go with this. He is taking a second gas, so I feel like it might end up being Banshee. Which I think is actually, that's reasonable to hold for Illusion with this type of opening.
It could also be that Neeb is going to try to counter Banshee play and opens up with a Viking Raven instead. Perhaps not that likely, but it's possible.
Yeah, certainly. He actually, like how Neeb, after seeing the way his opponent opened, he keeps an SCV here, and Illusion brings an SCV, both of them with tanking SCVs, and Illusion gets nothing, losing 2 Marines and an SCV.
Well, that's a pretty painful start. It might seem small, but especially okay. Well, actually, there is a comment center more than halfway down, so maybe it's not that important for Illusion. But it's just not nice. It just feels like, oh, this might be one of those days where every single thing you try, it just doesn't go your way. We saw that just the other week in WCS America when Tasia decided to open with a Reaper Marine and then 1 SCV, walked across the map and killed 0 and lost all 3 units. Then against the very first counterattack, he just straight up died, or at least he tapped out, and he was pretty much dead. So there is a good chance that Illusion might be in a little bit of trouble if Neeb decides to do something similar. But the build from Neeb is very different than the build that Major busted out in that game on Yangtze. However, losing 2 Marines is annoying because you would like to keep those Marines around against Cloak Banshees.
Yeah, early game TVT can be a lot about momentum, especially. Just imagine you lose those Marines and you have just a couple less now to defend back home, and all of a sudden, if that Banshee can pick off a few of them, you don't have quite the firepower that you need to hold on. So this is an interesting position, especially since Illusion, with this second orbital finishing, still has not built anything like an engineering bay. He doesn't have a tech lab for his starport. He's just going to get a Viking and try to defend this with his Marine Viking, which means he needs to kill this Banshee with a scan. And he scans and he sees, okay, there's the normal setup. The first Banshee is out. Cloak is about 30, 40 seconds away.
He saw the shadow of the Banshee making his way across the map. So I hope he has shadows on.
Yeah, I like this, actually. Illusion's put his mine here by this gold base as well. So if this Banshee dances around too much, if he hits it with a couple shots, he should be able to pick it off, especially since he also has another Widow Mine next to his Marines. Playing this very defensively, but still, it won't be easy to get a kill on this Banshee.
Cloak is not ready yet, but it will be ready within a few seconds. Then he's going to try to go in again. One scan, he has to be careful, especially because it's double orbital already. Most likely his scan will be ready. And yes, there is one scan saved up for Illusion. So if these Marines get very close to that Banshee, he will throw down the scan. But he doesn't want to scan and not kill the Banshee. He got that scan though, and he's not going to get it. He will usher it out for now. But he would have loved to take down that Banshee.
And that's painful. He'll have 2 more scans ready in a few moments, but the issue here is it's just, you know, if you don't have to use that scan, then you can bring out more mules. And I think he even built a second Banshee at some point that he has waiting in his natural as well. So he does kill that one. And he has 2 Vikings on the map. There is another Banshee moving out from Neeb's natural expansion now, and he's built the command center there. So I feel like since he's taken this base, you know, he's got the command center there a little bit sooner. Sure, he's actually ahead of SCVs on Illusion now as well. So I almost want to say any advantage is pretty much gone, since you could say having the orbital earlier would normally give you mules, but he had to use, you know, 2, 3 scans to kill the Banshee. It's not fun.
He used 1 scan to scout, 2 scans to take down those Banshees. So yes, he had a quicker orbital, but all of that energy went indeed into scans. Didn't really go into orbitals or mules to boost his economy. So I do like Neeb's position again. And of course, let's not forget, Cloak is a very useful upgrade to have throughout the entire game. It's just not that you need to use Cloak right now, or it is going to be useless for the rest of the game. It's one of those upgrades that's always nice having.
Yeah, all of the potential situations, especially Neeb wanted to get it for that base trade he had on this map the last time around. And I like that he's actually taken this. He's taken this tower. He puts a Widow Mine at the Zelnalga under his Marines, and he's just come and try to kill me as Illusion moves out to take his natural expansion.
Man, that Marine is standing on top of a booby trap.
That's also, you know, so you see some really cool plays. Like, I think I saw once some guy is like Terran versus Zerg burrows 3 mines under the siege tank, and the Mutalisks try to snipe it, and it turns out they all just killed themselves. But the Banshee's here in the natural, no missile turret. There is a Raven for Illusion, but not before he loses maybe 1, 2 SCVs.
I think it's only logical that in Legacy of the Void, Protoss is going to be able to get something like that. Because of course Zerg can get the burrowed Banelings. Now Terran can do a lot of cool stuff with Widow Mines. I think it's time for us to get a cool...
I'm going to bring back Burrow Charge for DTs.
So, something that can blow up and is below the ground, and I'll be happy. Either way, Illusion is going to make his way across the map. I think it's going to be very hard for him to make something happen against these 3 siege tanks that Neeb has. I think Neeb threw down a scan, or probably it was Illusion, I guess. Either way, he's going to see his army. Neeb doesn't have to walk down, and he should definitely not run into this siege tank. There's no need for Neeb to take this fight. He realized that as well. Seeker Missile is going to go out of range, so it will not connect with his tank. However, good start of this fight so far for Illusion.
Yeah, I like how he used the Seeker Missile to make sure that Neeb could not turn around to fight. Oh, scans. Well, almost not even able to force the scan, but the way he used that Banshee to bait those Marines out was quite nice. And let's see, well, Illusion is actually still just putting out some Marines. We have a lot of Vikings in production for Neeb trying to push this away.
Illusion is 9 workers behind though, and 9 SCVs in this phase in the game, especially because he brought a few in this little push as well. That's a lot. I feel the longer this goes on without Illusion doing some real damage, the better it will be for Neeb.
Yeah, and look at this. He's sending out a medevac full of Marines towards the top side, and this is a potential to do some damage. All the units are being rallied out of Illusion's base. He has absolutely nothing to defend in the main base from what I can see, and they're still just poking these units out, using those Banshees, and Neeb knows he needs to produce Vikings, or at least needs to make sure he holds on to the airplay. But here comes this drop into the main base. There is a one Widow Mine that kind of hurts that medevac, but it's not really enough
he's gonna try to
quite hurt this. The SCVs come in as well, and
that's painful.
That is quite painful. Those Marines just get to work, and even this siege tank will die. SCVs try to repair, not enough. Illusion's SCVs all dying in his base, his army out in the middle of the field, still not able to do anything at all. And Neeb seems to be unbreakable. He cancels the building of that third command center. Viking pops out, does get the medevac, but
this drop has done so much damage already. Neeb now up in supply, super up in workers. He's 24 SCVs ahead and he's still not done. What are you going to do if you're Illusion? He's going to pull more and more SCVs. So I guess eventually he will kill these Marines. But the oldest question in the caster book, at what cost? He's down 30 workers. He's picking off a few tanks over here. Like, he has an army supply advantage, 51 against 37, but is that enough to just walk up this ramp and win? I don't think so.
Into 4 siege tanks, it's very, very hard to say, and he still has that Banshee, but only 5 hit points. That third command center, it's just gonna get canceled. He's like, you know, I need a couple more bucks because there's no way I'm gonna be able to completely recover my economy. So I'd rather put out a few more units. 19 SCVs to almost 50 now. And even brings more SCVs forward to repair that Banshee once again. It's been basically his lifeblood to try to poke with the air advantage, but now Neeb's cranking out those Vikings again, and he has what I would say is a good amount of air superiority. He's pushing some of those siege tanks back. And what can Illusion really do at this point? Are mules that good that he can stay in this game, Ronnie? That's the real question.
Mules are that good, but not if your opponent has the same amount of mules, because that kind of makes it a little redundant, doesn't it? Neeb is still like being pretty active with his army. If I was Neeb right now, I'd just sit, like siege up, sit, produce units. There's really nothing you have to do. He's gonna send out another medevac. He's like, that first drop was really good, and it was. He took down like, I think almost 40 SCVs in his entire game. 42 even. 42 SCVs have fallen. Neeb, you really do not have to do this. I guess he didn't know that Illusion was still standing at the Zelnaga Watchtower.
I think getting caught out on the map by this very large army of Illusion is the only way that Neeb could lose this game. And there's the Seeker Missile. Illusion's going to try to make this work on that tank. The Marines spread out. He's killed just about everything. The Banshee's still alive here. A lot of the Marines are killed, but Illusion still has 3 siege tanks. What's here to defend in the natural of Neeb? Just a handful of Marines and a Viking. Not even a siege tank in production. All he has are SCVs. Now it's being sieged up. Neeb gets a drop in the natural expansion at the same time of Illusion, but Illusion does have some forces here. Burrows a Widowmine, has a Viking at the same time, still pushing into that natural of Neeb, picks off another one of his Vikings, and I mean, Illusion just gonna try to claw his way onto this base. Still no siege tank in production to help push this off. Neeb's gonna pull all his SCVs down, stims the Marines, he's running in the Banshee help. The siege tanks being repaired by those SCVs. Is it going to be enough? He will overwhelm the siege tanks, but now there's more Marines and SCVs of Illusion coming. The Marines are in his main base. This is absolute madness. Still has a siege tank alive, but Neeb holding strong in that supply count.
This is like everything that Illusion has right now. This is his final push. If he somehow wants to win this game, it's going to have to happen right here and right now. Army supply is very close. Worker supply, not all at all. That Widowmine blows up so many SCVs, but still, I just can't imagine that Illusion has enough units over here.
He's target firing the Marines with his siege tanks, but he just doesn't have enough to deal with these SCVs. Illusion drops to 16 supply. Those last SCVs trying to drill through those Marines, but it's not enough. GG. Neeb moves on to the round of 16 for the WCS America Premier League.
What a performance by this very young, just 16-year-old North American Terran player, recently joining the Fnatic Academy, or at least just a few months ago. He left a good impression in WCS 2013, and I'm so happy that we spoke about it on top of the show. It's not like we had no expectations of this guy, because we kind of said like, you know, wouldn't be surprising at all to see him at least take a series or a map here and there, or maybe even move on. It is definitely possible, and it's not even that like it was really wonky how he moved on. I do think that you can still see that he's a little inexperienced, because there was no need for him to somehow, some way make this close. Just like there was no need for him to lose that game against Polt on Habitation Station. It was the wrong moment for him to fight. There was absolutely no need. But in the end, he managed to pull through. He killed 75 SCVs in, how many minutes was this? This was, I don't see the clock, but maybe 15-minute TVT, something like that?
That's a lot of workers to kill. Fantastic. Yeah, 18-minute game.
Yeah.
That was just crazy play by Neeb. He played so well in this group. He really earned it. And like you said, kind of hyped him up before the match started. You know, if this is a guy that not many people knew about before now, hopefully you guys will check him out now. He's certainly a very good player in the North American scene.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot from him. He will make his way to WCS round of 16, which is so important because that also means he will be part of Premier League again next season. And of course, he secures himself already $3,000, which is easily the biggest payday of his career. So it's really good. And it's good for North American StarCraft to see new players breaking through. And the way that he played today, I can even see him, you know, do some crazy things in the round of 16. Of course, it's going to be tough. He has a lot of Koreans to go up against, but, you know, he seems to be a nothing to lose, everything to win type of person, and that's the way to look at it.
Hey, man, you almost beat Polt 2-1. And the two other biggest contenders in the league could arguably be Tasia and Bomber. If you keep your TVT up to snuff, who knows?
Yeah, in 2013, his TVT looked good. Today against Illusion, it looked really good. I think this is awesome. This is good. You know, it's always important for a scene to have new talent up and coming, and he deserved it. What a performance! And I can't wait to see him play offline.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So he will advance with Polt to the round of 16, and that leaves us with just one group left for the round of 32 here at WCS America, which we'll be covering tomorrow.
Yes, if we can take another look at the graphic that we had on the start of the show, where we took a look at all of the groups, then we can see which players we will bring to you guys tomorrow, and that will be the final round. There we go. As Group A to G have been played already. Tomorrow it's time for Group H, and that looked like an awesome group on paper. We have Max, the Protoss, that was perhaps in Jim's shadow for a while, but in Season 3 he outperformed Jim, and right now he's once more making his way into Premier League. He's going to go up against Puck, Select, and Sen. Puck, one of the best North American Protoss players. Select, of course, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best North American Terran players. And then last but not least, we got Sen. The beast from Taiwan, the sleeper as we like to call him, but somehow he always pops up and he always performs in these kind of tournaments. What an awesome group tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool group. There's some, I think, very difficult to call games. You know, Puck in WCS 2013 for America took some big games off Korean players like Hyun. Select, you know,
even a map of Jaedong as well.
Yeah, players like Select, you haven't seen him streaming much lately. How much has he been preparing? And maybe he'll pull out something new that we haven't seen as much. And I personally haven't seen too much of Senator Moxed's games, but both very high-level players. And this next group, I mean, you got one of each race at least. Looks pretty well balanced too. Yeah,
that's of course the Zerg plays were perhaps a little sad today. They're like, oh, no Zerg in WCS America. Well, tomorrow you have an awesome Zerg in the name of Sen. Maxed is a Protoss player that I really adore because he plays the type of style that's so close to mine. He has a long, strong two-base timings, but he also has really good PvP, so it will be so fun. I think he played a lot actually against Puck in the past, unless I'm confusing Maxed with another Protoss, but I'm pretty sure that Maxed and Puck will have those facts straightened out for you guys tomorrow. So I think Maxed and Puck have a little bit of history with each other already. Overall, really fun group. I definitely enjoyed today. Hopefully you guys at home enjoyed it as well. And I think that pretty much does it for us, Nate.
Yeah, that's going to be all here for our first broadcast here from Cologne, Germany. It's been pretty cool. Great games.
Yep. Do you have any famous last words before we are heading? Well, maybe too bad, but our sleep schedule is kind of twisted around, so we might just play some later games.
Who knows? No, just thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the games as much as we did.
Yep, we definitely had a lot of fun, and hopefully see you guys again tomorrow night for more WCS America Round of 32 action. Peace.